Tell me a little bit about yourself.
My name is Brendan Long. I'm a sophomore finance major here at the University of Maryland. I'm originally from a small town right outside Boston, Massachusetts. Um, in the last, in my first 2 years in college, I've really stepped up and taken a lot of leadership roles and positions in clubs that I'm in that are normally reserved for older people. So, for example, I recently was elected the treasurer of my fraternity, where I'm in charge of planning and maintaining a budget of nearly $150,000 a year. I also served as the Interfraternity Council Tailgate Sponsorship Chair, where uh, my main responsibilities included fundraising nearly $30,000 to go towards the 4 student tailgates for the University of Maryland, and then budgeting and planning out how we were going to use that money and actually putting it towards those tailgates.
Tell me about a difficult decision that you made in the past year.
Yeah, so one difficult decision that I had to make in the last year was the decision of where to work over the summer, this previous summer. I had the option of going back to work at a summer camp where I actually went since I was a kid, um, or working in retail. And after carefully weighing out the pros and cons of each job, I ultimately decided on the job in retail, mainly because it would provide me with a new experience, and also because it I was more able to pick my own hours there.
Tell me about a time you had to begin a difficult conversation with another person.
So one difficult conversation that I needed to initiate was when I first told my soccer coach that I would be out for the rest of the season after I hurt my ankle. And it was really tough because I was the starter at my position, and on our team we only had a few other people that could step up and take my place. We already had a bunch of people that were injured, so that was tough. And in order to try and make the situation a little better, I offered to help him in any way I could and told him that I planned on continuing to attend practices, obviously only to watch, but still planned on going.
How have you worked to achieve your personal vision?
So in order to work towards my professional vision, I have taken classes that relate to my field that I'm interested in, which is finance. Um, as I talked about earlier, I've joined a couple clubs and taken up leadership positions in them, again, as treasurer and as the fundraising chair. Um, I'm also in the process right now of trying to find an internship in the field so that when the time comes, I'll be better prepared for a career in finance.
Tell me about one of the toughest groups you had to work with.
So, what stands out to me as the toughest group I had to work with was the group of counselors that I worked with at summer camp. Um, Typically, a group consists of 3 counselors, and those 3 people are in charge of around 20 children. And I ended up being paired up with 2 other counselors who were new and honestly didn't really know exactly what they were doing. So I really worked to teach them how life at summer camp works, and I'd help them out in any way I could. I really think that I stepped up and acted as the leader for the group of 3 of us, and it worked out well in the end. By the end of the summer, they had become great counselors.
Tell me about a time you made a big mistake.
um, One time I made a big mistake was during my first semester of college, actually. I'd recently been assigned 2 essays for different classes. Uh, got both the assignments at the same time. They're both due, I think, the same exact day. So one of the assignments was to discuss the similarities and differences between 4 films, and the other assignment was to compare and contrast 2 different periods in history. So if you haven't figured it out, I somehow mixed up the assignments and ended up writing an essay comparing and contrasting 2 periods in history, which was right, and an essay comparing and contrasting two different movies, which was wrong. So I ended up getting a pretty bad grade on that second essay, but I was able to talk to my professor and really explain what went on. And well, she was kind of skeptical at first. She realized it was an honest mistake and gave me some opportunities to try and not redo the essay, but make my grade a little better in the class. And luckily, throughout the course of the semester, I was able to do just that and ended up doing all right in the class.
Tell me about a time you had a lead role in managing a student project.
Yeah, that one actually is really recent. I took up a leadership role in my group's Everest simulation project for one of my classes. So the Everest simulation, each member of the group, it's a group of around 5 students, and each member is given a unique role. And you have to work together given your unique and shared information and along with your unique and shared goals to try and climb Mount Everest. So as leader, I helped to make sure that each individual shared any pertinent information that they received just for themselves, and also really helped to make sure we're on the same page as a group in addition. And in taking leadership, our group simulation score actually rose from a 44% to a 94%, so that was definitely a positive.